we're on.
Well, it was revised.
Yes.
Yeah,
So this,
it was revised.
And then I hope Deborah facing. I'm sorry.
That's all right, Ms. Deborah. Is our recording secretary today. All right, basically, can we open with prayer? Brother Moultrie? No, any,
go ahead, Doctor.
Father God, it is once again that we come and we open ourselves up to you. We ask, God, that you just be with us in this meeting. Help us, Lord, to conduct the business of the Housing Authority and conduct it, God, with decency and in order. We ask that you be with us, that you temper our tongues. Dear God, that you allow the Holy Spirit there to be peace and harmony as we debate the issues, dear God, and as we come to agreement on what we need to do. It is in your name that we pray. Amen. Chair would accept the motion to go into executive session to receive advice from the attorneys and also to discuss a personnel matter.
I move that we go into executive session.
Oh, still, I'm sorry. I apologize. Let's put that motion on hold. Can we have a Creekside update?
Right now, things haven't changed since our last regular board meeting. We're still paying the cost for them to be in the hotel. We do have several that'll probably be moving, one in public housing and another one we're trying to get housed, two that we're trying to get housed under HCB, but that'll probably take place either the latter portion of April or first part of May. So those are the only changes right now that we're pending.
Do you have were we ever given a price, billing or proposal as far as the, repairs to Creekside?
No, that's something we gotta discuss about trying to get that scope of work put out there and get someone to do it for us. I mean, there's a lot to consider, and I just don't think internally that's something that we should do.
Okay,
Because the scope of work, even though it doesn't seem like a lot of items on that report, the scope of work is kind of vast when you're dealing with 100 apartments plus common areas. So you wanna
Okay.
make sure that we have someone that can give us more of a precise cost and what it's gonna.
okay. Because I'm looking at, because I think that, if I remember correctly, that we did receive a report that the air conditioner units had been repaired. Certain things on that list has been done,
Right.
but I don't remember seeing a full, let's say, budgetary.
Right, for the scope of
for
work
all
on
of
that,
those.
yeah, no, we haven't moved forward with that. We're gonna have to agree to put that out and get someone to do that for us.
Okay. How soon can we expect that?
If I've got your permissions, then we'll go ahead and get that out.
I thought we already-
Because, well, no, because you remember, the attorney has our A&E contract that we never signed. And that's who usually performs these tasks. And I've never heard back whether or not we could proceed, because remember, there was details that were supposed to have been stated that they wanted included, and I don't have that back.
Yeah, we were waiting for the A&E, a potential contractor to send us a more detailed contract. So we sent it to the judge.
He has it, yes.
Okay, so we're still waiting from that from.
Is our attorney online?
Yeah, he's online.
Okay.
So where's he at with that?
Who is it? Is it Mr. Charleston or Mr. Coker?
They're both there.
Okay.
We're both here.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Can you sort of, give us a ballpark timeline on when we can look at, when we can move forward with what you have, in that contract, or, or what the next step is, or? Concerning Creekside, concerning what is it, A&E?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Turn it
What
around.
contract? The contract for Senior Citizens Association, the consultant agreement for Ms. Garrett.
Esperon was supposed to give us some more detail.
Yeah, I gave you a copy of it.
A&E?
Yeah, it's Coffin and
Yeah.
Associates.
They didn't have enough detail.
I'm sorry?
Oh, brother. It's
Coffin and Associates, I gave you a copy that day because, you were here when, I forgot his name, Mr. Troy, I think it was speaking.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The CNA LLC
Esperon
contract,
was supposed to give us some more detail for them.
What is
to
it?
add.
with,
is that what I'm hearing?
What did you
we didn't
say?
hear you, sir.
CNA LLC?
Yeah, again, Coffin and Associates. Yeah, that's.
Confidential, yes.
Yeah, is that Corfin and Associates?
Yeah, Coffin and Associates, yes.
Right.
I have that, but my understanding was that they were gonna go back, staff was gonna go back to them to get clarification, and then we would get another copy to review.
Okay.
Yeah, I still have the one from February sixth,
Okay,
Yeah,
so I have not any new contract.
that's what he's saying, so, Esperon was supposed to bring it
I
back.
think Esperon was supposed to get a more detail for us to add because it was so open
okay.
for, I guess, to tell us so we can kind of get him to add to the contract.
Okay, details from Coffin for them to add.
No, Esperon give us more details as to what should be the scope of the work,
Mhm.
so he can add it in the contract.
But,
Let's see where
but he's
Esperon at.
adding it, Corfin is adding it.
Yeah, but
Cool.
Coffin and Associates is different than
Well,
just Creekside.
Well,
Coffin
he-
is
Right.
Well, he
with
was
overall general
Coughlin
architect.
just gave us an overall of what
Right.
they're gonna do.
Right,
But
Coughlin-
Esperon was supposed to give us a more detail as what they should be doing.
Right, so Corfin's new contract would reflect, these new details.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So Esperon should probably give it to us, or give it to Pam, or give it to somebody to get to him,
That's
so
not
he can
enough.
add it.
Where he at?
But see, that's what I'm saying, that stuff, you don't, the
Right.
jobs are specific to
Right.
the site. So Coffin and Associates, the contract is just general.
Right.
Right.
So if you want to assign their contract and they do the work and do the scope of work for Creekside, then that's a separate job. It doesn't go with their
Right.
contract that they issue
You
to
remember,
us.
that was my issue
Yeah,
that day.
the indefinite
So
clause.
what did they do with that contract they
When
had?
when you have an A&E contract with the housing authority, then you assign them specific jobs to do, i.e. Creekside. Or if we wanted to do the parking lot at Parkview, it's specific to whatever site or job it is. Not, their contract is just to say, yes, we have you kind of like on a retainer, and we'll assign you
I got you.
jobs
I got
for you to do the scope of work, and then it goes out for
you. I
bid
got
and
you,
all
ma'am.
that.
I got you.
That's where I think kind of the, confusion was with their contract. It's just that they're providing the A&E services as we need them for specific jobs.
What is A&E?
Architectural and engineering.
Architect and engineer. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, the thing that, if you recall, it was a 3-year contract, it says that the housing authority intends to procure the services of a planning, management, A&E firm for the purpose of providing planning, management, design, and construction administration services for a 3-year period with respect to various projects for the Florence Housing Authority.
And we can change the time.
Okay. Yeah, so it was a 3-year contract, for 3 years with an optional additional year. But that was the question was, so what will they be doing and what project was this for?
It's open. I mean, you would depend on the job you assign them to do. That contract that you have is just to have them kind of like on the retainer. So if the Creekside situation needs A&E services, then we say, hey, Coffin, we need you to go and create us a scope of work, which they're gonna list everything we need to do, line by line.
That was
And
my
then that
question
information
then.
goes out for bid.
That was my whole big thing. That was my question then was, does that circumvent us having to get the 3 quotes?
No.
How do you say no?
Wait a minute.
No, we supposed
No,
to
not
have
on the
three quotes.
construction
Not on
part,
the
you still have
construction
to do
part,
the
not on
construction.
the actual work.
Okay, now let me, tell me if I'm wrong. Anything over $10,000, whether it's construction work or whether it's a plan,
Right?
has to get 3 bids.
Have to get three
So
quotes.
even them doing design work, if it goes over 10,000, still requires
A bid,
a bid.
3 bids.
Right.
Unless you put it out for bid, and then you will go with the person that submitted their request.
Then we put this out for bid?
Originally, it was.
But hold on, but see, but listen to this. Y'all are still telling me the same thing now. Because if each job is individual and each job requires a different design, and it's over $10,000 for that design, you're saying because they're already on board as our design team that we don't put out the bid, that we go to them. That's what you're saying.
Through procurement, yes. When you put those out.
I just think that's wrong. I think you said every job.
But
should
you
go
don't
through
have to.
bid.
Right.
So if that's what I'm saying, if you want me to move forward, then we would just have to do our normal process and we would put out a scope of work and we would get 3 people to bid on that scope of work for Creekside and pay them to come up with it, and then that information goes out for bid with the construction part of it.
Cause I think that's the way it is written in the
I
policy.
think we should do
Huh? I think that's the way it's written in the policy. Is that correct on that?
In the procurement policy?
Procurement policy, yes.
No, in our procurement policy, we have that we would have an A&E.
Oh, it's in there like that.
But see, you're like, see, you missed
that. That we don't have.
You have an A&E,
Yeah,
but
but I
that
don't
doesn't
know the
circumvent you
verbiage
having
of
to get 3 bids if you.
I can get, I have them on standby, so.
You
Tell
can have
me
the
something.
A&E, we
Because
can have
does it
any
say that
contract
we
on
can
hand.
have, if it's in there, that we can have an A&E, but does it still say, show it to me right? that
So,
we need
so
3
why don't we
bids?
just get 3 bids, man, and just put it out for a bid, and if they bid, then they bid. Then if they don't, they don't. Whoever get the bid, whoever responds to the bid, I think moving forward, for one, we might need to look at our policies.
Bring our procurement policy.
You follow? We may need to look at our procurement policies, and then I think moving forward, we might want to, just get the bids, and then, we safe all the way around the table.
That's right.
Brother Porter,
Yes, sir.
okay, and, please help me
Yes, sir.
to understand,
Yes, sir.
okay? And Pam, I'm gonna put it to both of you. Kaufman and Associates, if I'm not mistaken, is they are offering their services in A&E. And they submitted a proposed contract for those particular services of A&E. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. My question is, should we have put a bid out for those particular services?
I think the issue is because you gotta understand, each job is separate. So you're still putting out a bid for an overall vague contract without specific jobs. So that's the first understanding that you have to understand. That you're putting out you're looking for a vague contract that doesn't specify any particular job. It's just saying that they will provide these services when they come up.
And those services that they're going to provide is determining what the scope of work will be. That's what we're paying them for, is to determine what the scope of work. So if we did, if I'm not mistaken, what you're saying is, okay, if the parking lot at Lakota,
Yes.
okay, we would call them and say, okay, we need A&E to come up with the scope of work.
Right, redesign or whatever the case may be, they would provide those services and determine what the scope of work would be so that contractors could bid on that scope of work. Not
Now,
them,
But
but contractors.
if that parking lot, if they're part of figuring out what has to be done, they cost $10,000, what does that put us?
No, okay, so it's two separate things. It's two separate things. So even if they provide the scope of work and it's over $10,000, then it's still.
No. The scope of work, them providing that service, giving us the scope of work, their service costs over $10,000. What do we do?
Since we have a contract with them, we would
So
not have to
we
put it
did-
in the bid.
Right, for them to
We
provide.
just circumvented because now we're talking about a specific job. And rather than go and find somebody to do it, we just use who we already have in house and pay them over what we should be paying without having bids. If they charge us $10,000 to give us their scope of work for that parking lot, we're gonna pay them without bidding on it, correct?
If you have, yes, if you have.
If you
them.
have the contract.
Okay. Let's get some legal advice.
So I don't think that makes sense though. Okay, so then what you're saying is, we bring them on. We at the Crowder Crossroad over here, we at the main campus here, and we at Pine Street here. And we get them. This main campus costs $9,000, this costs $12,000, this costs $13,000. But we bring them in, if this is over $13,000, how do we approve them to do this work? It's over $10,000, number one, over here. And then we're gonna get them to come in, and then over here, if we got Mr. Porter who wants to bid, we're robbing him to write the bid. These three separate jobs. You know, shouldn't we have a bid on each one of these jobs versus coming in and saying, okay, we're gonna hire this guy and he's just gonna be on, and he's gonna take care of all of these jobs. And I read the procurement policy yesterday, we talked about it in executive session. Anything over $100,000, man, and I'm sure this would be over $100,000, we should have,
The work,
the work.
we're only talking about the design.
Right. And they're talking
Two
about
separate
the design,
things,
right.
yeah.
So again, it's a design fee.
Right, if it's a design, you're allowed, HUD allows you to put out bids for A&E contractors. They are competitive bids. So anybody's allowed to apply that gets the request for proposal.
Okay, but look at what we're still doing. If that parking lot needs to be fixed, and we need A&E work for that parking lot, then we put out bids to get the A&E work done for that parking lot, right? But that's not what we're doing. We're not putting out bids, because we already have in-house. We're putting out bids for the actual construction of it.
Right.
But for the design of it, we're not putting out bids. So if the design cost is over $10,000, or are we circumventing what we should be doing? And I need some legal advice, please.
Yeah, this is John from Charleston, and good morning, first
Good morning.
of all.
Good morning.
Yeah, I think that, you know, the best course always is to, you know, see if there's an appetite and circulate, you know, your request for design services and all that stuff like that. Oftentimes it depends on the size of the job and the scope of it, whether or not you get responses. But I don't disagree with you guys that the more conservative approach is always to seek competitive responses. That's what we prefer, and so I'll pause there and take any questions if anybody has any.
I mean, so just for clarity, your suggestion would be that we don't go with the overall contract?
I'm sorry, are you hearing Mr. Porter?
I said your suggestion, I said for clarity, so I can understand, your suggestion is that we should not put out the overall contract and do specific bids for each job, A&Es?
Well, no, what you can do is it's up to you guys in terms of how quickly you want to develop the site. But I've seen it done both ways. You can design the scope to be a limited scope, or it can be a
I already
broad
heard you say
scope,
this.
just
What's your
whatever your
suggestion?
timing is, you know, for this particular project, what your preference is, and we'll make it work. for whichever that is, based on, you know, what the board wants to do.
Okay, understand, but right now, I'm looking for legal counsel. What's your suggestion? I think this is done.
Well, as I said before, a lot of this is driven by what your timing considerations are. So if you're saying you're ready to go, for right now on a smaller portion, then we can limit it to just that smaller portion. But if you really would like to go with the broader concept, then certainly we can, we can make that work as well. I think it's really driven by these business decisions that you guys make.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
But that ain't the
Okay,
right way.
my suggestion would be, until we secure the leadership position, at least, let's back up and do this on a piecemeal basis, which is like you all said, like you said, to, to put, I'd rather overdo it right now, because we're under the microscope, and put everything out for bid.
Exactly, I agree.
Regardless of whether A&E, Cawthon comes through or whatever, as soon as we do it, as soon as we know what we're getting ready to do, let's go ahead and, put it out.
Put everything,
Put it out, and then that way, see, because at that particular point, I just foresee down the road that every decision that we make is going to be scrutinized. So therefore, if that is going to be the case, let's take the conservative approach. And, it may be just a little bit longer, but I'm thinking that it would be more beneficial to us in the long term.
So we're discussing the A&E.
And I totally agree with, Chairman Douglas.
So we get that out separately.
Does that make sense to everyone?
So I think moving forward, Mr. Chair, with all due respect, I don't just think just for this purpose, but I think even when the ED is put in place, we still need to have 3 bids, because moving forward, when you look at how most of these agencies are getting in trouble, they're getting in trouble developing relationships with these contractors, getting kickbacks, and avoiding allowing other people to have the right to bid on these jobs. So we might need to look at our procurement policy and change it where we require 3 bids. Now, I did read here just a moment ago, and we can share this with the attorney, he can kind of help us understand. It tells us the difference between competitive and non-competitive. Well, it's competitive when we put the job out, and if 3 people don't bid on the job, it becomes non-competitive. But still, in all, we've done our due diligence by putting it out, whether they bid or not.
Absolutely.
That's on them. But we need to utilize our own media forms that they would normally use, put it out as a bid, put a date on it, and that way it does not come back on the board or the agency.
Exactly.
If someone comes back, we can ask Esperon, hey, go get the date and the time when you put this bid out. And the bid been put out, we follow the policy and procedures. So I would say, I agree with you, Chair. We need to get at least, attempt to get at least 3 bids.
No, get at least 3 bids.
No,
You know,
attempt.
we can attempt, we can't
put it out there.
We can't
That's
make
up to them.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta,
Yeah,
We put it out for, our job is to put it out for bid.
Yeah, but they wanna do it per job.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Per job.
Yeah,
Okay.
and when you say per job, I just wanna make sure I'm clear. If it's anything other than Creekside, 3 bids. If it's anything other than that, 3 bids, that's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
now Creekside is gonna be a whole thing when it comes to water, HVAC, and all, it's gonna all be one, right?
Well, right now we're talking about just engineering design.
Okay.
Yeah, they know that you determine the scope of work from that part. If someone comes in and helps us determine the scope of work,
Yeah.
we have to pay for that service, that's what they're saying.
Uh-huh.
And then from that, we put it out for bid for construction
Yeah.
or repair of that.
All right.
Okay. So they're trying to separate each thing, so no matter what, we get 3 bids for each. So if we had a
Oh,
design.
we put it out.
We put it
don't-
out.
We put it out for bid,
Right,
not necessarily we get 3 bids,
Yeah,
we
it's gonna
attempt
be
to
a
get.
competitive proposal, we put it
Yeah.
out for bid.
Yeah, how long
Oh,
does it
however,
run? How long does it run?
however,
long?
the minimum, our policy says that it runs a minimum of two weeks.
1 second,
2 weeks,
should we
okay.
go into executive session now, we're talking about these contracts now, or we're not?
we're
No,
not.
we're talking about policy.
We're talking about
We're talking
policy.
about policy right at this point.
Right, so are we in executive session now?
No, we're not. We're not. We're still on the Creekside update.
Okay.
Okay, and, that A&E and that
Right.
question, that
Correlated
question
together.
sort of came in
Right.
under,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
because we were talking about, Kaufman and Associates.
Right, gotcha.
Or, I think I asked it, I think I opened that can.
Gotcha.
Where is it where it says in the policy that you could use, like how we do in Cochran, like one big, let it be like a big umbrella? over everything?
Indefinite quantity.
You know what page that's on?
I'm gonna find it for you.
This is Jose, so can you all hear me?
Yes.
Good. So, so this is what you all are doing, and what this A&E contract reflects is what they call an indefinite, contract. Can you hear me?
Yes. You said something, you said it's an indefinite contract.
So what it is, looking at the TMA contract, on the 3rd attachment, it says indefinite delivery contract. And if the housing authority wishes to procure A&E services for more than one specific project, the housing authority may solicit for an indefinite quantity of services. And that's what y'all are doing here with this contract. So you can do this, but you still have to put it out to have at least, like you said, maybe 2 or 3 people have an opportunity to bid on the services.
Right, and that's if we choose to continue going with an indefinite contract. Do we have the option as well?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so what they have here is called an indefinite quantity, meaning that they can do many projects that can be done within the 3-year period, as opposed to another alternative option would be to do it by phases or by specific projects. But the gist of it, what you all have discussed, and what Johnson had recommended and you all did too, was you need to put it out. So that way, if you decide to go this indefinite quantity route, at least you have met the requirements for procuring it.
So if I'm hearing you right, you're saying that it might be, conducive for us to move forward with the present contract, but then also put it out.
No, you have to put it out. Have you put the contract out yet?
Did we put out?
The A-
For
No,
this
the
thing?
A&E, that was put
Yeah.
out when,
Um,
last year.
it was earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Alright.
I can't remember exactly when, but it's already been put out. That was the only bid that we received was from Carlton. No, we received 2.
Okay.
Scotland and Carlton.
Kaufman, okay, that was when we doing those, okay.
So have we seen the other one as well, or you're just?
Well, no, we originally signed a contract with Stockton, but they didn't produce, they weren't trying to produce any work and help us decide on anything, so their lack of, interest, it fell down to the one on Kaufman Associates.
So,
And that's why it was never signed, it never, you know what I'm saying, it never went with the second one.
Okay. Okay.
Put it out.
so it's, now this, I guess this procurement changes this, because on page 9, number 6, it says, A&E service.
I saw that.
The housing authority must contract for A&E service using qualified base selection procedures utilizing requests for qualification, sealed bids shall not be used for A&E solicitation under QBC procedures, competitive qualification and evaluation, and the most qualified competitor is selected, subject to the negotiation of a fair and reasonable compensation. Price is not used as a selection factor under this method. QBC procedures should not be used to purchase other types of service through architect, engineer firms or potential sources. So, I guess, attorney, maybe you can help me understand this. According to this, if we used the QBS, the price factor did not matter, and I think for Creekside in particular, I don't know about the other prices, but because of the extent of Creekside and the way it's been, we definitely should use the method of the QBS and not the method of a dollar amount.
Right.
Because there's a lot of stuff that needs to, like in our engineering report, where they talk about not taking down the units, but taking 3 down at a time and not tearing all the walls out, but restructuring the walls from the outside, which would probably be cheaper than somebody going in and just tearing out all of the units. And maybe you can help me understand a little better, Esperanza, help us with this QBC and the price.
Qualified base standard, qualified base standard normally is with a RFQ, meaning request for qualification. Pretty much the difference between an RFQ and an RFP is the price does not matter. Price selection don't matter. You look for qualifications, what they can do, how they can do it, because you might have somebody that give us a very low price, but are they qualified to do the job?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So that's the difference between an RFQ and RFP. RFQ, this QBS falls in under that. So that's the difference there. Now, and I understand where you want to go with, I understand what you're saying. You're saying that the magnitude of work, we need to have a qualified person that's able to do the work. So the price there shouldn't matter. However, normally when you do, and then I'm going by the guidebook and the study guide, normally when you contract construction, the price does matter. And the reason why I say that is because we have to do a cost analysis. That's what's gonna secure us with the price. They give us a price, the A&E have to do a cost analysis and say, hey, I've done a cost analysis on the stuff that they said that they're gonna do for us. My cost analysis come within 10% of what they can do, let's go with it. Therefore, they can't give us a low price. A&E do their cost analysis and they say, hey man, it's gonna cost us $100,000, but you said it's gonna cost us $50,000. Something is not right. You just want the job. You see what I'm saying? And that's where that's what the guidebook and the study guide states, that for construction it's best to use the RFP because the price it does matter. Now I understand about the qualification portion, but you'll cover that by the cost analysis.
Okay. So for construction, what you're saying is, for construction, cost comes into a whole lot more play.
Yes,
Okay, but see,
On the
A&E is not construction.
there you go. It's a service.
A&E is a service.
Yeah, so
okay,
A&E
now I
looking
understand.
for the qualification. What can they do for us? Do they provide a good engineer? Are they local? How quick can they get the design done? What kind of relationship they have with the local municipalities? Those qualifications is what you really look for under the RFQ and the qualified base standard.
Okay,
Selection.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Now, are there, from your experience, are there any other companies that are able to offer A&E services in this particular area?
Well, we had Stogner and Associates on board. However, Stogner was terminated by Ms. Elmore because they wasn't moving fast enough for what she wanted done. And I think those was the only two, Stogner and Carlton was the only two. However, as far as you got some developers that
play the role of A&E also. And that's how it was with Stogner. Stogner does development also. They responded in reference to our developers, but however, we chose somebody else because when we looked at the qualifications, the point value was higher with Paces. Y'all remember hearing about Paces Preservation? That's the developer that we had on board, that we tabled because of them. They done A&E work also. So as far as local, and to be honest with you, Carlton is out of Tennessee.
Okay.
Stogner is out of Rockingham, North Carolina. However, now, I will say, Stogner wasn't moving faster than Carlton.
Okay.
And that was one of Miss Elmore's things, because she
Okay.
was wanting a lot of stuff done.
Okay, but we have, for the most part, we have, for the background part, we have done what we were supposed to do. We
Yes,
put it out for
we put it
bid.
out for bid, yes.
We, you know, we've gone through the
Newspaper,
process.
Internet, and it was one more outlet that was used. It might have been through a file of Naro something.
Oh, okay.
I think it was put in that, their website or their portal or something like that also, whenever we put it out. So, I mean, we did what we were supposed to do. But our policy states that all we have to do is run it for a minimum of 2 weeks in the newspaper or local outlet and internet. And we done that, we put it on our website.
But I think even though we've met those minimum standards, our results aren't what we need to be able to make. If we only had one person to choose from, there's no decision to make.
Yeah.
So at that point, you know, if we do all this, we only get back one. I don't know if we need to change how we're marketing it
Yeah.
or extend it or something, but to only have one response to, I mean, in that case it was two, but in general, if we're only getting these minimal responses, then we have to do something different to
Yeah, and
expand
you
the
can,
search.
hey, and you can say, hey, I'm not gonna go forward with this. And we're gonna put it back out, and we're gonna see if we know another housing authority that know a A&E company, or who do y'all call around, who do y'all use?
Or I mean,
you know.
that's one option, but just from our marketing standpoint, there has to be a way, if we're putting it in newspapers, what newspapers, like how we, and what I'm saying is this is a way of us rehashing our whole concept, how we put it out there, because
Oh,
we,
yeah, I agree.
Can we, Chet, can we even think about maybe putting a job fair together, in our big conference room and inviting contractors? Get a date, invite a contractor, put a meal together, man, and let's let them come set up some displays to let us see what is it they offer.
Yeah, I agree, and I agree, because we have spoke about that. I agree on my level. When I say my level, I'm talking about even small contracts also. We need to do it, because we don't have that many people that's
we need to
responding.
invite the
We
right.
need to have that, and we can do it from the small contractors up to the general contractors
Yeah.
to come in.
And it can be out of state
Yeah,
as well as in
yes,
state.
well, we can
But they
send it
will
out,
come.
we put it somewhere, and we run it for a while, and then we offer them to come in and say, hey, we're looking for smaller contract, we need a contractor that can do a small floor or ceiling, but we also need a contractor that can rehab a whole building.
Yeah.
Or we need a contractor that can redo our parking lot, we need that,
Exactly.
I'll just be honest with you, because since 2020, since COVID, things just haven't went down. Everybody said, I don't have enough people to work, I can't do it by myself, and we runs into that, and that's just.
Okay, Board of Commissioners, and that's a conversation I think that we need to have at another time, but let's bring it back into, what we need to do here. I think that we're at the point, are we at the point that we can make a decision on this right here, or do we need to, on A&E? Are we at the point that we can make a decision on A&E?
I mean, we can put that out to get, or, you know, what is it, RFQ for that specific job at Creekside. And once we get that done, then they'll develop the scope of work, because you see where I'm going, it's gonna be time.
That's what I was
It's
gonna
gonna
ask
be
you,
time.
because we know that Creekside is urgency, so
Right.
I want to
So
ask the
it's
same thing.
2 weeks to put that out, then you got to get, once we decide on that, you're a month in on deciding on the A&E, then they have to develop the scope of work, you're probably 2 months in now
So you're
with
saying,
that
put-
process.
right, so you're saying but you're suggesting that for Creekside, we go a different route right now, I'm sorry.
Question, Mr. the attorney. Jose, Mr. Charleston.
Yes.
So will Creekside fall under emergency, the mold situation, since we have these people displaced and we're trying to get this building back operable so we can move these people out of the hotel spending all this money?
How long, can I ask this question, how long have the people been in the hotel?
January. I mean, it was, December. They started in December and the full move out was in January.
And tell them what you paid so far. It's so expensive.
And it's costing us a lot of money.
It is.
Yeah, we're in at, I think, 550,000 right at this point.
Yeah, we're still on camp.
Right. There hasn't been any, has there been any work performed so far on the, mitigating the mold, in the building,
They fixed it.
fixing it?
They fixed the roof.
Yeah, we fixed the, exhaust fans on the roof and the HVA systems are being, worked on right now.
Do we know what else is?
You broke up, say it again now, I'm sorry.
Plumbing, or.
No, any other that's left to be done, other than those two things you told me? What is it gonna take to have this facility so folks can move back in?
From the information that we received from the engineering study, it stated that we was gonna have to replace all PTAC units in every unit. That's 100 units out there, including the offices. Offices, it'll be about 103 units. And repair all water lines throughout the facility. And also have it cleaned and the air have to be cleaned and scrubbed.
Okay, so we never hired a general contractor to handle. You telling me?
No, sir, not at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess whether, if this has been going on since January, we're about to be in the 5th month, can we still say it's emergency?
If it's exhausting a lot of funds.
It's an existing
It's-
emergency.
it's an ongoing
It's an ongoing
It's an
existing.
ongoing emergency, it's dissolving a lot of funds.
Well,
Find
Mr.
out.
Moulton, and
Could be.
before,
Sorry.
maybe consider this. Maybe what we do is say, we'd like to proceed under an emergency procurement, okay? Because one, these residents are still displaced, and two, we're just spending an enormous amount of money. We like to do an emergency procurement, and we want HUD field office to bless us. Okay, this is what we plan to do, unless the HUD office says we can't. We just go on the emergency procurement.
Mr. Charleston, I think you broke up, or I did not understand what you said about, I heard that part. Oh, okay. Okay, I heard you now. I mean, I heard what, Moulton just said. So we need to, okay, gotcha.
Look at,
Okay.
page 9, look at E,
That's what the money.
1B.
And that kind of stuff, certainly we can help drive that.
We have done that grant for remember, we submitted
Okay,
So, under non-competitive, attorney, it defines in our procurement what an emergency is under non-competitive on page 9. It says, an emergency exists as serious threatens the public health, welfare, or safety, or endanger property, or would otherwise cause serious injury to housing authority as may arise in the reason of flood outbreak, epidemic, riot, equipment failure, or similar event. And then in such case, there must be immediate and serious need for supply services or construction such that the need cannot be met through any other procurement method, and the emergency procurement should be limited to those supply, service, and construction necessary simply to meet the emergency.
Right. And I don't
And then C, unauthorize the use of non-competitive proposal.
And then two public
Yes,
clarifications.
Mr. Moultrie, I don't disagree with anything that you said. What I'm thinking is, I'm just thinking that we're 5 months to fact, and the question becomes, does this still qualify as an emergency? I believe it does, and all I'm simply suggesting is maybe, suggest for your consideration, that maybe what we do is proceed as an emergency, on an emergency basis, but go ahead and, seek buy-in, just let the HUD field office know we're doing this, and here is what we believe the emergency or the public exigency is, and we just wanna let you know that that's what we're doing in case it comes up.
Okay. So do we make a decision based on, on our emergency situation to move forward with the A&E contract? Or do we not do anything with it until we put this out for A&E and so forth and so on? So that's the question. Do we move forward?
Allow the A&E to be emergency also, cause they're gonna be the one to have put the design together, get the contract in place.
But then the current contract doesn't apply, because Creekside is the emergency.
Yeah, just put it to the side and ask them, can they do the design for us? We get approved from Eric. Eric say, hey, you can use that A&E company for this one particular thing right here. And that's to put the design together to get Creekside on the road and rolling. After that, then we can come back to the table for A&E for 2 years.
The indefinite,
The
yeah.
indefinite quantity.
Okay.
Of course, we have to make the we have to do the paperwork.
Yeah, of course.
And we can just use the whole thing as an emergency. I mean, if y'all, if that's what you,
For Creekside, we're talking
for Creekside.
Just
Okay.
Creekside, yep. It's gonna happen.
I guess I'm trying to see what this motion's gonna look like, or please go ahead and
Can I help you?
can we move forward?
Can I help
No, you go ahead and make it.
you? So, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we, authorize the acting ED to contact HUD to,
Are we in closed session?
no, we're in open session.
Okay.
I make a motion that we, allow the acting ED to contact HUD to make sure that we can use the A&E on an emergency basis with Creekside based upon the length of time this has been going on.
I second that motion.
Okay, it has been moved and properly second that we authorize the acting ED to, to contact HUD to move on an emergency basis, for the mitigation of Creekside. Is that the motion? I mean, is that
Yes.
a good restatement of it? Okay, it has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor by, let us do this by roll call vote. All in favor, let it be known by, stating your name and saying aye.
Linda Ball Williams, yay.
Thomas Porter, yea.
Gerard Moutrier,
Rosa Mullins, yay.
Opposers have the same option, and, so it is unanimous. Okay, so now Chair will, okay, there is a motion on, there is already a motion on the floor. There's a motion and a second.
No, we didn't second.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor that we go into executive session.
before we go, Mr. Chair, there's two things in this policy that we need to address, still with Creekside. One, the policy, and the ACOP clearly reads that, I understand in our last meeting, there was some issues about people, not wanting to leave and turning down there. And so we don't need to make any motion, but I wanna bring clarity for the record that the policy and our ACOP says on page 3 that was effective 10/1/22 under the emergency transfer that arises due to maintenance condition mandatory, unit transfer for emergencies will be offered twice. Families who reject both unit offers will be removed from the public housing. So that simply means that those people who are denying moving from the apartment, the public and the media should know our policy is in place, that we're not putting them out, but we're following our policies. If they don't come 2 times, I think, Pam, you guys need to move forward with, getting them out, because we're offering them a house, and our lease also was very clear that we offered them a place, and we did, and if they denied 2 times, I mean, unfortunately, crime is everywhere, all across America. So, where the housing authorities are located that they're offering, we can't control that. Or
The
we
land
need
does
to-
not change.
No.
That's just it. The land doesn't change.
Correct.
The land doesn't change.
And also, Brother Chair, I think another thing that was brought up in the last meeting is now that I think before the board, gave vouchers to those people when they did not have a cooking unit. Now they're in an apartment where there is a cooking unit and they are getting food stamps. I think we should consider, maybe getting those vouchers back, because they are getting food stamp and they have a place to cook. So I don't see the logic in us continue to give them a voucher, and, so I think we should, kind of pull those vouchers back.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I said,
An end date.
effective immediately.
Set an end date.
Yeah, is that effective immediately, or?
What,
Yeah.
Can I ask-
Food voucher.
does every unit have a stove in it now? I mean, all of the tenants, all of the people from.
We don't have anybody in Hope,
The
Yeah.
other, no,
Right.
they're in, they have kitchenettes.
Oh,
Yeah, but have kitchenettes.
so everybody has kitchenettes now.
Yes, effective immediately. Right.
I make a motion, draw a motion that we, remove these vouchers that the people are getting, who are affected with Creekside, effective immediately.
Linda Williams, second that motion.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the voucher, the emergency, the food voucher, be terminated, immediately, for those residents who are displaced, basically for the reason being that they are now in units where, they can prepare food.
Kitchenettes.
Okay. It is been moved and properly seconded. Is there any other discussion? All of those in favor, let it be known by roll call.
Linda Williams, yay.
Thomas Porter, yeah.
Gerard Moultrie, yeah.
Proposals have the same option. It is so ordered. Okay? Now, there is a motion on the floor to go into executive session. The chair will accept a second. We're looking for a second.
I'm sorry, did we address the issue with the people being able to, we talked about them getting 2 chances, and did we do anything on that?
We don't have to. Basically, that is a part of,
That's already-
it's already
Okay.
policy,
Okay.
so,
Okay, so we just enforce it.
Just,
It's-
just enforce our policy.
just enforce the policy.
But it is also, the public need to know, because what they're gonna hear is we're just putting them out. So I think that we need to share it here now, saying the reason and what we're gonna do and why that we're doing it.
Okay, is it possible for the, I guess the Public Relations Committee to kind of get together to pull to
Give out the
Do which-
vouchers.
Well,
yeah, the press release
When do you give it out?
to state that the,
So you've already given it out?
one, that the vouchers
So
get,
would you recommend?
the voucher system's getting ready to terminate, and also
And then
that,
tell them next week, have a
what
meeting and go
yeah,
over it.
that the policy,
Right. yeah.
So, Brother Chair, just a quick question. So, the executive already just informed that you give it out every Monday? So, to be fair on both sides, why don't we just have a meeting with them next Monday when they get the voucher? Just give it to them
That'll be the last.
one last time and let them know that it will be their last time. I think we should not just pull it back immediately, because maybe someone may not be prepared to do it. So we give it to them that one last time and help them understand. So let them have a meeting with them, and we go as a board and say, hey, this is what we're doing, and show them policies and procedures. Copy it and give it to them so they understand policies and procedures. It doesn't matter what the world say. They need to know that we're following the policies and procedures, and invite the media over there so that they can hear that we're giving them policies and procedures.
I like that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna give them at least one last time. So now nobody can say, hey, we just left them hungry. No, you already know you got 7 days to pull this thing together.
okay. I don't have a problem with that, and I don't think that the motion needs to be amended, because it is terminated, so therefore, we will, can you send us notices out as to when this meeting can take place?
Yeah, do you want it to take place individually at those separate hotels, or do you want us to try to hold it here? How do you want me to proceed? Do there's two different locations?
What, if you've been going, right, I said let's go to them.
Yeah,
Let's
Let's
go to
to
them.
Okay,
Yeah.
Let's
So
go
we'll
there.
have to
So
do
two different
two
locations.
different,
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Let's move forward and let's kind of move forward with some haste also, please.
Executive session.
Executive session. It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All of those in favor, let it be known by just saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers have the same option. Okay. We are
Inslee.
in. Vote on, we,
Did we say, when we said one motion, better, you said one motion.
move for the, move forward with the search.
The executive,
Oh,
sir.
yeah.
With the search, the executive director search.
Okay.
Is she on? Are we on?
Yeah.
So, she said it's not showing.
It's showing, what's that, is it?
It's showing on our side.
It's showing. But let's see what they're doing, yeah, it's showing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the Board of Commissioners for the Housing Authority of Florence has just come out of executive session. No action was taken in executive session. We received legal advice on contracts and personnel. There is one thing that does need to happen before we proceed toward adjournment. Chair will accept a motion dealing with the job search for the executive director.
Gerard Motion, I make a motion that we, move forward to extend the job search, for the executive director, and put out the job to fill the position.
I second that motion.
It has been moved and properly seconded that we move forward, with the,
It's recorded, so I got it.
it has been moved and properly seconded that we, move forward with the executive, director's, posting of the executive director's position. All of those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers have the same option. Hearing none, it is so ordered. We will look forward to our next, regular meeting. If there's any emergency that comes up, then we will schedule a call meeting to handle that. Chair will accept the motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn. Gerard Motion.
All right.
Second that motion.
It has been moved and seconded that we adjourn.
Okay, so, when did you go on with the, employment? Almost position.
Oh, we made a motion for that.